Hey everyone. So I've been doing a bit of a prompting recently to build vibe code apps. See some previous videos for vibe coding, but raising the game on the prompting. I've got an example here which I've actually got in GitHub, which is a project plan. These are basically prompts setting to a structure for an coding agent like Claude or OpenAI or Cursor to use as the basis for what they build. So the description is here. So basically, for example, I'm going to build an AI News Aggregator, but this is just the documentation to bootstrap that agent. So it's kind of a series of mega prompts in a way, which set the guide rails for the agent, a coding agent, so it knows its build policies. Now I'll break these down very quickly, but basically this is the inputs and the policies and instructions we're going to give the AI to make sure they do what we want them to do, right? So in the project overview, we have the description of the project we're going to build, so they have that context, what tech stack we want to use, what features we're building, and any technical requirements. We're going to make sure they follow coding standards, performance optimization, security practices, and quality guidelines. In the development tasks, we are going to have a granular task breakdown, clear start and end states, and success criteria. Now, this is key so that the agent knows what the start looks like and what the end state looks like. So it's got something to work against. And the file structure, so we're going to give it a basically the file structure for our app using the app router in this instance, and the best practices, and then we're going to give it a step-by-step workflow guide. So let's go through each of these one by one, right? So here are the project goals. Here's the architecture we're going to be using. Now this is all a summary, right? And here are the development phases. This is just basically a summary of all that's in those files, right? So human readable. Here are the success criteria, right? So it displays AI-related news. It's got search and filter. It has a detail page. Save the article. These are the technical requirements. It must be 80% test coverage. Accessibility AA. And so on, right? So we're building with Next, with React. We're using this library. We're using this API, etc., right? Performance targets, and so on. And they're all encoded in here. This is the human readable, basically, and inside here, if I drill in, you'll see this is the markdown for the bot itself. So it will read all of this, as you can see, even some very basic user stories. Technical requirements is going to read this, and these will be its guide rails. As you can see, it tells you what sort of file naming to use. What sort of, for the React components, what do we use? We use the Pascal case. Capital, this one is dashed, camel case for utilities. So it's got all of what it needs in terms of policy of best practices. Development tasks here, broken down. This is the start state, it's empty. Right? And then phase 2. And so on. That's the one we've sort of broken down. This is what the structure should be. So it already has the structure, which is the best practices one. And then it has its little checklist, right? Got to make sure all these are available before it gets started, and so on. And then it sets up the environment, reviews the file structure as outlined in the file structure, creates types, plans the API. So this is all linked, and then it'll key development guidelines. So here we go. So basically now this is we'll bootstrap an app, and that's what we're going to do in another video. But here this is a super prompt basically to ensure that we get what we are looking for. Okay, let's go on to building it.